Good morning, hello, welcome to the TriathlonDan YouTube channel. Today, I'm going out for a bike ride. So it's Sunday, club ride, absolutely classic. It's about, well, it's drizzling or mizzling. It's like a fine rain that soaks you through. So in terms of clothing, I haven't put anything waterproof on because it's just too hot. It's about 14 degrees, so it's still quite warm. The route on the car today is about 55 miles, 3,000 feet of climbing, so pretty hilly in my terms, but for these guys, not very hilly. Now of course, being in a tier 2 area now, we can't stop at cafes because we're from different households. And also yesterday we heard the news that we're going to be going into a national lockdown this Thursday. This might be the last group ride we get to go on for a while. The rules in the UK from Thursday are that you can only meet one singular person outdoors to do exercise. So in theory we could do, club rides with 2 of you, but it's just not the same, is it? And of course we won't break the rules in more than that, so we'll see how it goes. But anyway, I'll take you along for the nice ride today, say hi to the guys and get some pedalling done. But I need to change gear now, so I need to put my right hand down. See you in a minute. I don't mind seeing the light on every club ride, we're like, wow, smash it. But today, bad weather, there's only 4 of us out in the front group. General consensus, it isn't to go too hard. It's still going to be a decent, hang on, as I say that, I'm getting dropped. It's still going to be a decent tempo ride, but we're not going ballistic, especially on downhills, corners and stuff. It's just not worth the risk of ruining our pretty faces, is it? Well, we're 32 miles in on the last climb of the day and I've been absolutely hanging. Thanks to the lads for waiting for me and pushing me and etc. Jake's took one for the team though, had a puncture. Thanks Jake. Off at the last climb, nice little breather. Cheers for that. On his new bike as well. We all feeling alright?
Yeah, for sure.
Happy days.
How come he's so ready with that though?
I reckon he's billing somebody. What do you reckon?
Walk around with it.
You're right. So we're on Via Gellia, which is a big climb in Derbyshire, just descending at pace, and this tree's come down. It must have only just come down, because that Porsche come past us, didn't it?
Yeah.
Blimey. How low can you go? Anyway, onward I suppose. Yeah, you're not going to get through the big bit. See you later, mate. So sometimes, and when riding's going well, it's really easy to pull the camera out and be like, oh, we're smashing it, we're doing this climb, we're doing that. But sometimes it's not easy to pull the camera out because I'm getting dropped and I'm feeling rubbish and so on. And so after that point, I think I'd gone through the worst of it at that point, but I was getting dropped left, right and centre. And don't get me wrong, the guys I'm riding with are very strong cyclists. So I'm in no way like upset that they're dropping me, that's fine. But I just felt absolutely like 2 out of 10 and it really wasn't going well. Massive shout out to them lot. I told them 2 or 3 times, leave me. Like one point I was like, please leave me so I can just ride easy home. But they kept dropping back for me and towing me back on and all of that. So thank you very much, guys. It is very much appreciated. It was a miserable day out there. I would have been happy to ride in on my own, but it is better riding in with you guys. So hopefully I can return the favour at some point. If any of you, obviously this is a bit ridiculous now because we're going into a lockdown, but after that, if anybody's near to a club, get out with a club because you meet some awesome people, you got some great rides and great teamwork. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about my week's training. I think I do this video every day and I talk about the day's training, but I don't seem to look back at the week's training, and I do that myself, I just don't share it on a video. So I thought I'd look at my training peaks now and have a quick run through what the week was and what it's looked like, how much volume, how much training stress, all that sort of stuff. So on Monday, now I was coming off of a weekend where I did a race on the Saturday, did a duathlon, might have mentioned it once or twice, so I didn't want to, and I ran Sunday as well, so I thought I'm going to have a couple of days off running. So the week started with a session on the Monday night, which is part of the Rideharder Academy. So it was a 1 hour mainly easy spin, but with 10-second max sprint efforts. So although it was only 44 training stress score, it was a pretty decent session. I was hurting because of that. Training stress isn't created equally. I might cover this in a different video, but just because a session is higher or lower training stress score wise doesn't actually mean that you're less or more fatigued from it. And then after that, I did a group yoga session. I only put it in for a second because I don't like it adding towards my training time, because it was an hour long, but like it wasn't training. I wasn't any more fatigued from it. Half of it was me rolling around the floor and Liz laughing at me, so I'm not going to count it as training. Tuesday, so you can see I've got my Garmin Verb Index scales, which link to Training Peaks. So there's my weight for the whole week. I'll come on to that in a second. Tuesday evening, cadence drills tempo session on the watt bike. So that was indoors. That was in TT position. That wasn't a hard session, but it wasn't easy. It was sort of somewhere in the middle. So it was like a half a recovery day, really. I went into Wednesday thinking, okay, I feel fresher than I did yesterday. So into Wednesday, I really struggled. This is where the Training Peaks doesn't capture this. Really struggling for time. A lot of things obviously going off at home, a lot of things to do at work, etc. So I got out for a really short run at lunchtime, 5 short hard hills, 12.5 minutes of running, really not a big session, but I got a little bit of intensity in there, which enabled me to get a little bit of training stress, so let the body adapt and so on. The evening ride was the club ride, and that was pretty hard ride. As you can see there, an hour and a half, 95 training stress score points, and there was quite a lot of like 1 and 2 minute decent efforts, I believe, and it wasn't easy. We go like 1 minute 4:76, 2 minutes 4:40, and so on. Hilly ride, group ride, hard. Thursday. And you'll see there I've got a big thing that says diet start. That's my own reference, because up to that point I'd pretty much ate rubbish most of the week. At that point I thought, right, I think I said this on the daily video, I need to take this seriously, and that's when I started taking it seriously. It's still ongoing now, so let's look at the weight with that day was 192.6 pounds. I ran for an hour and 8 minutes in the evening. It was a hilly loop. It wasn't hard, it wasn't easy, probably somewhere in that middle waste of time ground, but it was good just to get out for an hour and a bit's run. The Swift Tri Academy also started that day. I put that in because I think I was going to try and do the academy, and I'm not sure whether I'm going to do it yet or not, but I'm going to think about it the next couple of days. Going on to Friday, even though I did 5 minutes in total of strength and conditioning, I like putting this in there because then if I perform worse or better in the days coming after us, I can sort of try and think, okay, what was the cause of that? So real short, sharp session. Then Friday evening, the chain gang, in which I didn't ride well at all, got dropped a couple of times, and that again, that's fine, but I just didn't ride well. I knew that I wasn't riding well, and it was quite hard. I got hit a couple of heart rate PBs for the year, and we're sort of in November, so I was quite, say, good, quite bad probably to be hitting heart rate PBs for the effort required. Saturday morning, early long run. That was titled, but it should have been an early long run just for me, but I ran with Liz, so it was quite steady. 1 hour 16, 7.87 miles. Off-road, up and down hills. So it wasn't an easy run, but it wasn't too hard. So my weight's gone down to 190 pounds there. And this morning, 191.2. So I'm about 1.5 pounds down from when I first started eating better. It's not going to happen overnight. I'm buzzing to see a little bit of improvement already, but in the coming week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that's when I see the improvement. And then today's club ride again, nearly 3 hours on the bike. I think I was a normalised power of 262 watts. Training stress score of 139. So that was a fairly bike specific week. So if we look at actual times, I've planned 10 hours and 9 minutes of training. I've done 10 hours and 50. Training stress score 619. I spent 8 hours on the bike, and I spent 2.5 hours running. I've biked 159 miles and ran 18 and 5 minutes of strength. I know you're probably thinking the same as I am. I need to do less cycling, more running. I've got a lot of work to do in my running, so therefore I need to drop that down a bit and realign that a little bit. In reality, I'd like to try and keep my cycling around 8 hours a week and increase that running up to about 30-35 miles. That's certainly something I'm going to try and translate to tomorrow. But yeah, I just thought I'd give you a look at what my numbers are on Training Peaks, and obviously you have like a fitness and freshness and form score and all of that, and I don't really pay too much attention to that, if I'm honest. I do know that like when I'm getting close to a race, if my fitness score is 110 to 120, I know the last few weeks have been a decent lead in, but that's really not an accurate representation of how fit you are. I will show you also how I plan the next week's training, but I'll do that in tomorrow's video. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that little recap of the week. It certainly makes me want to look at it as well. Let me know down below though, do you guys look back at a whole week and like reflect on it or not? James at Rideharder likes me to reflect and then put a little note in, so how I think the week's gone and what went well and what didn't go well, which I think works well because I look back at those and the same thing crops up week after week sometimes. Like now, more running, less cycling. I will probably write that for the next few weeks, but there you go. So yeah, let me know down below, what do you do in terms of reflecting on training. So that is it for today's video. So I will see you tomorrow at 4 PM, and I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow yet. I'll plan it in a minute and I'll let you know. See you then.